Baik, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5. We'll be presenters today. So yeah, next. Our group consists with 3 members. The first one, Ustazah Aisyah, and second one, Ustazah Farisha, and me myself, Ustazah Hanisa. So with our presentation today, we will start with 2 simulation. Will be done by Ustazah Farisha, first one, and second one will be continued by Ustazah Fatin Aisyah. Okay, please welcome Ustazah Farisha.
Okay, Assalamualaikum semua.
Waalaikumsalam Ustazah.
Semua sihat ke?
Sihat, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, hari ni cuba teka apa yang Ustazah nak ajar.
Dekat slide tu ada istinja.
Oh betul, istinja. Okay, hari ni kita masuk tajuk baru. Istinja suatu tuntutan. Semua boleh buka muka surat 113. Dalam buku teks tu, buka muka surat 113 semua.
Baik, Ustazah.
Okay, okay, apa maksud istinja? Kat sini dalam buku teks, pengertian dan hukum istinja. Istinja adalah dari segi bahasa, ia bermaksud selamat daripada penyakit. Dan menurut istilah, istinja tu perbuatan yang menghilangkan najis yang keluar daripada kubur ataupun dubur. Maksudnya kita menyucikan diri kita daripada najis, najis besar ataupun najis kecil. Air besar ataupun air kecil. Okey, faham?
Faham.
Okey, hukum beristinja. Apa, semua orang tahu tak hukum beristinja ni apa?
Wajib kot.
Ya, wajib. Hukum beristinja tu wajib. Dan ia selaras dengan hadis Rasulullah SAW. Okey, siapa nak baca ni hadis ni? Okey.
Saya Ustazah.
Fatin, baca hadis tu.
An Anas bin Malik radhiyallahu anhu qala kana Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam idza kharaja li hajatihi aji'u ana wa gulamun ma'ana idawatun min ma'in yakni yastanji bihi.
Baca sekali dengan terjemahan tu.
Okey, terjemahan dia Anas bin Malik radhiyallahu anhu berkata, jika Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam keluar untuk qada hajat, maka aku dan budak suruhanku akan membawa bekas berisi air agar baginda dapat beristinja dengannya. Okey,
bagus. Okey, jadi hadis ni dia menjelaskan bahawa istinja ni merupakan amalan yang wajib. Wajib kita lakukan. Dan sesiapa yang tidak beristinja tu dengan sengaja, hukumnya apa? Berdosa. Okey, buka muka surat 114. Okey, kita tengok pula apa alat-alat untuk beristinja. Alat beristinja tu dia terbahagi kepada 2, iaitu air mutlak dan batu ataupun benda-benda kesat. Dan air yang merupakan alat yang terbaik untuk beristinja. Kerana air dapat menghilangkan rupa, warna, bau dan rasa najis itu. Jadi kita kena cari air dulu sebelum cari benda-benda alat-alat macam batu ataupun benda-benda kesat tu kan. Okey, siapa tahu apa lagi alat-alat beristinja yang lain selain batu? Okey, Hanisa?
Tisu kot Ustazah.
Tisu, tisu betul. Lagi Fatin, apa contoh lain?
Daun. Besi.
Okey, Fatin, apa lagi bahan alat-alat untuk beristinja tu? Selain batu, tisu.
daun ke, kayu ke.
Betul. Okey, jadi alat-alat beristinja ni yang pertama kena ada air mutlak dan yang kedua benda-benda yang kesat ataupun batu. Okey, semua orang dah faham kan apa itu alat beristinja. Jadi Ustazah nak tanya satu soalan kepada semua. Okey, soalannya macam ni. Adakah tisu basah tu boleh digunakan semasa beristinja? Okey, Hanisa boleh tolong jawab.
Saya rasa boleh.
Boleh
Boleh Ustazah. Tisu.
Tisu. Tapi tisu basah pun boleh.
Oh, tisu kering kan sepatutnya.
Ya, betul. Alat-alat beristinja tu dia kena kering, kesat. Tisu basah tu dia tidak sah untuk beristinja. Kecuali kita guna tisu kering tu dulu, barulah kita guna tisu basah. Tu dibolehkan beristinja. Kalau kita guna terus tisu basah tu, tak sah istinja kita. Faham semua?
Baru saya tahu.
Faham.
Okey, Ustazah rasa setakat ni dulu kita belajar pasal definisi beristinja dan dalil hukum beristinja, dalil yang membolehkan untuk beristinja dan alat-alat istinja. Nanti kita sambung pula kepada kepentingan beristinja dan perkara yang haram, alat yang haram untuk digunakan semasa beristinja. Okey, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, thank you for Ustazah Farisha for this simulation 1. So we move forward to simulation 2. Please welcome Ustazah Fatin.
Okay, thank you Sister Hanisa.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Budak-budak semua sihat ke?
Waalaikumsalam, sihat Ustazah.
Waalaikumsalam. Ustazah.
Sihat, Alhamdulillah. Semua puasa ke hari ni? Puasa tengah lagi.
Puasa.
Okay, tak apa. Okay, baiklah. Boleh rasa kita akan belajar pasal apa hari ni? Topik apa kita akan belajar?
Haiwan.
Haiwan? Okay. Makanan? Okay. Macam kita tak tahu kan apa yang akan dipelajari sebab berdasarkan gambar ni. Okay, tapi sebelum Ustazah nak bagi tahu kita masuk topik apa hari ni, Ustazah nak bagi clue berdasarkan 4 gambar ni. Nanti boleh kena jawab soalan-soalan Ustazah, lepas tu baru kita tahu kita akan belajar topik apa. Okay, mula-mula Ustazah nak tanya Farisha. Cuba Farisha bagi tahu apa yang Farisha nampak dalam gambar belah kiri ni. Belah kiri Ustazah ni.
Ada buah-buahan dan roti.
Roti, okey, betul. Okey, Hanisa pula. Belah kanan Ustazah ni, Hanisa nampak gambar apa?
Saya nampak berulang. Satu lagi tu macam tikus rasanya. Yo.
Betul. Itu adalah tikus goreng. Okey. Okey, baiklah. Berdasarkan gambar ni, macam tadi kan belah kiri ni makanan, buah dengan roti. Belah kanan burung helang dengan tikus goreng. Jadi saya nak tanya lagi Farisha, apa yang Farisha boleh explain ataupun terangkan pasal gambar belah kiri ni, yang buah-buahan ni?
Kalau yang belah kiri tu kita boleh makan, kalau yang belah kanan tu tak boleh.
Okey, Hanisa rasa kenapa? Kenapa belah kiri boleh makan, kenapa belah kanan tak boleh makan?
Kalau belah kanan ni saya tengok tikus kan kotor, makan benda kotor. Lepas tu burung helang tu tengok kaki dia tajam, paruh dia tajam, macam nak makan. Takutlah nak makan.
Okey. Pandai. Okey, maksudnya gambar yang sebelah kiri ni makanan yang boleh dimakan, yang sebelah kanan tak boleh dimakan. Okey, lagi saya nak tanya, cuba Farisha bagi satu kesan kalau kita makan makanan yang belah kanan ni, yang tikus dengan burung helang ni.
Saya rasa dia akan timbul penyakit berbahaya dalam diri dan memudaratkan kesihatan kalau kita makan benda-benda tu.
Okey, pandai betul. Kalau makan makanan yang berbahaya ni boleh memudaratkan kesihatan. Okey, Hanisa pula. Hanisa cuba bagi satu kesan kalau kita makan makanan yang memudaratkan ni.
Kesan kepada Islamik ke Ustazah? Kalau bagi saya,
Boleh je.
kalau kita sebagai Muslim, kalau makan benda-benda macam tu, dia akan merosakkan pertama badan kita lah. Yang kedua mungkin amalan kita tak diterima rasanya.
Okey, jawapan yang baik, mantap. Okey. Baiklah, okey. Saya nak tanya, Hanisa dengan Faisyah tahu tak yang dalam Islam Allah ada sebut dalam Al-Quran ada makanan yang boleh dimakan dan ada makanan yang tak boleh dimakan. Jadi kita panggil apa makanan yang boleh dimakan tu? Makanan apa yang boleh makan?
Makanan yang boleh dimakan, makanan halal lah kan?
Makanan halal. Okey, betul. Makanan yang tak boleh dimakan?
Haram.
Makanan haram. Okey, jadi kat situlah poinnya. Tajuk kita pada hari ini ialah kita akan belajar mengenai makanan halal dan haram. Okey. Seterusnya, okey, pandai. Kita akan sambung kepada aktiviti seterusnya sebentar lagi. Okey.
Okay, thank you Ustazah Fatin for the simulation, wonderful simulation from both of you. So after we do the simulation, we're done with this simulation, we will go to our topic, okay, which is, next slide. Okay, this contents of our presentation. The first one is inductive and the deductive method will be presented by Ustazah Fatin, and then application of inductive and the deductive method in Islamic education will be presented by Ustazah Faisyah, and the last one, Hikmah Pedagogy in teaching Islamic education, will present by me. So I'll pass the floor to the first presenter, Ustazah Fatin. Please welcome.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So now I will present and explain about inductive and deductive method. Okay, let's get to know what is the meaning of inductive and deductive. Okay, the first one is inductive method. Inductive method of teaching is a student-centric approach based on the idea that students are more likely to learn when they are actively engaged in the learning process. So we can see that inductive method is more to student-centered. So students do the activity, students discover by themselves, they explore, and they give the conclusion about what they had explored. Okay, so now we want to see what are the advantages and disadvantages of the inductive method. Okay, first let's see on the advantages. Number one is rule discovery is more meaningful and memorable. Yeah, when the students discover by themselves, they can touch, they can see, they can hear, it will be more memorable and will be there in their mind, always be there, stuck in their mind, and they will remember because they feel it, they touch it. Okay, so second, students are more actively involved in the learning process. Okay, just like the simulation before, okay, you can see the differences between simulation number 1 and simulation number 2. Okay, you can think of yourself which simulation is that the students are more engaged, more engaged with the teachers. Okay, so number 3, students will have greater self-reliance. The students will be more independent because they have because they need to discover, they need to search, to find the info or the info regarding the content. And yes, the teacher will give the example or the clue about the topic of the day. So the students itself must think about the topic and so on. And the teacher's role here is to encourage the students to think more and get the clue of what they will learn. Okay, so the disadvantages are students may hypothesize the wrong rules. Yes, not all students can hypothesize the right one. Some of them maybe will hypothesize it incorrect or incorrect way. For example, like we had learned before last week class with Dr. Azam about the differences between approach, method, and technique, right? So we, with our partner, we define ourselves what is the meaning of these three. But after that, doctor asked us to present about our definition of the differences. It is not same or slightly different with the actual meaning. Okay, so here is the role of the teacher to explain it and correct what is wrong. Okay, so second is it takes time. Inductive methods takes time a bit because it needs two-way communication between teachers and the students. So it might be a shortcoming for subject that had a short time of teaching. Okay, lastly is extra planning. If the teachers want to do inductive approach or inductive method, they need to plan more because it is a bit complicated and many steps to do. Okay, so that is about inductive method. I hope you understand. Okay, next we move on to the deductive method, the second method, which is the meaning of the deductive method of teaching is it is involve a teacher-centered approach to presenting new content to the students. Like you have said before, in the simulation, one of the teacher, she entered the class, she present the slide, and she just deliver the content or the topic of today. So the student just listen from the teachers. And it begins by providing rules to learners along with examples, which are followed by specific activities so that they can practice. So the teacher just deliver and explain about the topic or the content of the day with some example, and then the teacher need to get another example from the students. Okay, so after that, maybe the teacher can do some specific activities regarding the content. So based on that activity, the students can practice what they had been taught before. Okay, that is a deductive method. Okay, let's get to know what are the advantages and disadvantages of this method. Okay, for the advantages, number one is it is straight to the point and time saving. Yes, it is proven because you can see if teacher-centered, the teacher just deliver the content straight to the point, and it is time saving because it is just one-way communication, and is good for the subject that had is good for the subject or topic that had not much time, no extra time. Okay, next, confirm many students' expectation about classroom learning. Okay, so the student already expected how the classroom learning be like. So this deductive method is confirming what are the expectation. Okay, so number 3 is respect the intelligence and maturity of many students. Because every student have different level and not all students are clever enough to discover by themselves and to give conclusion and reasoning and etc. Okay, so the disadvantages are students may not be able to understand the concepts involved. So if the teacher just teach and deliver, maybe some of the students will not get what she or he delivered. Okay, it is based on their level of understanding and based on their focus and environment. So this is one of the disadvantages. Okay. Second is less memorable because they didn't feel by themselves about their learning. So it is not melekat, it's not there in their mind. Okay, so number 3 is rule focus. It is focused only on rule focus is rule here, meaning that the content or the topic that being delivered by the teacher. So it is only restricted to that topic only. Like that. Okay, so next. Okay, let's see. What are the differences between inductive teaching method and deductive teaching method? Okay, here in this slide, I stated 3 of them, but later I have one question which is you guys need to give one difference and example along with example about inductive and deductive. Okay, these are the 3 it's obviously student-centered because they do it by themselves, they explore, they do research and etc. And then deductive is teacher-centered because teacher just teach and deliver. Okay, now second is discovery method. Inductive discovery method, the student discover everything by themselves. They for example, the teacher give us some example and the students will discover and discuss what are the general rule or for that example. Okay, for deductive is verification method. The student already know about that knowledge about the topic because the teacher has presented before. So with activities, for example, they verify their knowledge. Okay, lastly is inductive is a slow process because it kind of takes time, and deductive is fast process like we have learned before. Okay, so I think that's all from me. I will pass the floor to my friend Farisha Nadira.
Okay, I will proceed with application of inductive and deductive method in Islamic education. Next. Okay, for inductive method, the application of inductive method, we go deeper to the application. Okay, so for the inductive method, the first point is prioritize example at the beginning of the lesson and generalize from the example. It means the teacher need to prioritize the example, like giving the students like a lot of example that just that we can see from the simulation in the beginning of our presentation. So the teacher need to give them a lot of example at the beginning of the lesson, and the students need to generalize from the example. And for the point number 2, it is not recommended to give the definition or the content of the lesson. So here, the teacher not recommended to give like the definition of the topic or the content of the lesson that they are going to learn for the subject or for the Islamic education. And for the third point, teaching method that gives students the opportunity to make their own conclusions about concept. So inductive method, the students need to come up with their own conclusion about a concept or a rule that about our concept by like observing the example that given by the teacher. Okay, next slide. Okay, so for the application of inductive method, a teacher usually begins the lesson by introducing a few specific examples. The teacher need to give the students example first without explaining the topic or discussing the content of the topic. And then, based on the example given, the students are guided to study, analyze, interpret, and observe the specific example that had given by the teacher. So the students need to analyze what are the rules, the concept from the specific example. Then the last one, it derive a certain concept or generalization. Okay, from the observation of the students, it will focus on the certain concept or generalization. Okay, we can see after this the example, how to apply the inductive method. Next. Okay, so this one is example of application. Okay, that I just said just now. We have the teacher need to give a specific example, a lot of example to the students. Then the students need to observe what kind of example is that and interpret them, like the example, interpret them to what context of the example. Okay, then generalization. The student need to generalize, like come out from the observation, what can they sum up or conclude from the example to the general rule. Okay, next. Okay, this I take a topic in Form 1, specific example. The teacher need to give example like this, like make attention, wash your face, wash your arms, so that the students can like observe what is this, what kind of example is this. Okay, next. And when the students observe the example or interpret the example, they can come out with like assumption or what they are thinking about the example. I list out a few points that the student might think, perform in order tartib, starting the attention and washing the face and ending with washing the feet. It is a rukun, fardu, mandatory act. So the last one, generalization, they can conclude that this is a topic about wudu. So basically this is like an induction. When the teacher want to test test the students what kind of topic they are going to learn today. Okay, next. Okay, so for deductive method, teaching approach that start from one or several formula, principle, law, or rules followed by its application to specific example. It means like more focus on the rule or topic at the beginning. The teacher start the lesson by presenting the topic or what is going to be learned. What topic they are going to what topic the students going to learn, and then the students will apply from the rules from the topic by their application. Next. Okay, so application of deductive method, the first step is The teacher will begin the class by explaining a topic or concept first before asking students to give relevant example. So a teacher have to elaborate or presenting the topic, and then the students need to have a profound understanding, like have a deeper understanding about the topic that presenting by the teacher, and the student needs to select the relevant rule or concept which have been learned and to apply them in specific example. Then the students are guided to solve the required problem or to derive new rules or to form the conclusion. So from the explanation of a teacher, the students need to understand, and then they have to apply it in a situation or when in a problem. Next, the example of application deductive method in Islamic education. Let's see what are the example. Okay, so for this one, generalization, the teacher need to explain first about the topic. Next. Okay, so I take a topic about wudu also. The teacher explained the definition, hukum, dalil, rukun, ablution. The wudu is the intention with washing hands, wiping the head, and washing the feet with tartib. The teacher needs to explain the rules first. Then the teacher used the deductive method. Next. Okay, and from the explanation, the teacher can give a question or a situation to the students, and then the students can apply it what kind of what they understand, and then apply with their understanding and make the conclusion from the topic, like that. Next. Okay, so this one is the differences of deductive and inductive. Okay, the conclusion is deductive. It start generalization first, or rule or a topic, and then specific example. And why inductive? It start with specific example to the generalization or rule. I hope you all can understand my points. Thank you, and I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Ustazah Farisha. So, Assalamualaikum. Hi. So, I will cover the Hikmah Pedagogy in teaching Islamic education, but as a basic, because we will have, the talk from the Dr. Rusnani Hashim soon. So perhaps we can discuss together, but, we need to record. So, inshallah, maybe any further explanation and clear talk will cover by Dr. or Dr. Rusnani. So anything not clear, we can together ask her at the event, maybe, inshallah. Okay, let me start. So first, we will discuss what is Hikmah Pedagogy, and how it's implemented in teaching Islamic education. Okay, next. So what is Hikmah Pedagogy? Hikmah Pedagogy is a philosophical inquiry-based thinking tool that can sharpen thinking skills. So what is philosophical inquiry? Philosophical inquiry is a pedagogy that emphasizes cognitive skills and sociology that use philosophy as the main pillar. The development of these platforms aims to facilitate self-determined learning by the students by emphasizing critical and creative thinking combined with philosophy. So we can say that philosophical inquiry aims at achieving of what students learn in the learning process, because philosophical inquiry highlight to the learning process, not only knowledge. So students make their own research in understanding something that leading to a transformation of experience that will benefit other individuals in the group, okay, in the group of discussion. So who developed this pedagogy? So philosophical inquiry has been rebranded by Dr. Rosnani Hashim. Okay, I bet you all know, and named as Hikmah Pedagogy. Sorry, from the because this HP is from get from the idea of P4C, philosophy for children. So what is P4C? So I bet everyone know that P4C because we already learned at the previous semester. So I just briefly say that. Next. So briefly, P4C is an approach teaching and learning in the class to communicate each other about topic to encourage cognitive development of students, like encourage reasoning and agreement about stimulus that teacher prepared. And then student will ask question like philosophers and get the answer by voice out their ideas to others, and other students will think about their ideas and will think critically and creatively. After that, collaboration will be happen with their parents to collaborate their ideas with their peers and encourage them to have communication skills and teamwork skills also. So, all right, that's a P4C. Okay, so P4C was developed by Matthew Lipman in the 1970s, and he introduced this program based on philosophy inquiry after realizing the weakness of the first year students at Columbia University in reasoning and making rational, thoughtful judgment. So from a small start in 1970s, and then this program was adopted and adapted by many educators until now. So there are several variants of P4C today, as such as philosophy with children UK and Hikmah Pedagogy in Malaysia. But they all have one in common, which is the community of inquiry. We will touch what is a community of inquiry. So you can see there are the main elements in this approach, which is creative thinking, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication skills. In P4C, students are given the opportunity to speak, right? And then they are given access to hear their peers' voices. With these activities, we will create a democratic process, which is they receive the ideas, they voice out their ideas, and then they have the discussion in their democratic process can be happen in their discussion. Sorry. Okay, next. So the Hikmah Pedagogy, which was officially introduced in Malaysia in 2006 through the Center for Philosophical Inquiry in Education, IUM, and this was adaptation of the P4C. Before I just briefly say that. And so let us see the term of Hikmah Pedagogy, which is Hikmah means wisdom, like we all know. So you can see that there are many meaning of the wisdom. So they have a reason why the founder, why Dr. Rosnani and the partner chose this term, because of why. So next slide. So the founder named this pedagogy based on this ayah, okay, on Surah Baqarah 269 verse of 269, which means Auzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim, yu'til hikmata may yasha wa may yu'tal hikmata faqad utiya khairan katsira wa ma yazakkaru illa ulul albab. So the meaning is Allah grants wisdom to whoever He wills, and whoever is granted wisdom is certainly blessed with a great privilege. So Allah gives wisdom, useful knowledge. Okay, wisdom is useful knowledge to whom He wills. So wisdom is useful knowledge that is practiced. Okay, if you only know knowledge but do not practice it, do not apply it in your life, that is no wisdom. That is only knowledge. Okay, and the meaning of ulul albab. Okay, ulul albab is a person with a perfect mind. Allah always mentioned the word of ulul albab in the Quran. It means wise people. So wisdom only being ulul albab always get the wisdom. So we can also strive to get the ulul albab, right? So next slide. So why I just so after I briefly said about P4C and Hikmah Pedagogy, what the difference between both of them? So the difference brought about by the pedagogy of wisdom, which is emphasizes philosophical inquiry guided by critical and creative thinking skills, and the Quran as well the practical experience of the members who carried out this approach. And then the goal of wisdom pedagogy is still guided by Lippmann's goal, P4C, and aided by applying it to understand the Quran and Hadith in more depth to get wisdom as the direction of life. So we can see that different between both of them, which is Hikmah Pedagogy include our revelation, which is Quran and Hadith, to produce good student and a Muslim. All right. Next slide. Okay, this is Hikmah Pedagogy. This slide is you can see when you see the presentation. Slide presentation from Dr. Rosnani in method education method ISED 1. There are 4 posts P4C, and you see the heart caring thinking. So in Hikmah Pedagogy, the founder just added caring thinking to influence other thinking skills. So there is creative thinking, which is I just explain briefly. Creative thinking is like connecting, okay, relating, and suggesting like providing a comparison and give examples, criteria, and alternative explanation. Okay, and then for critical thinking, it's like questioning, reasoning, and evaluating by seeking evidence, meaning, make a good judgment. Okay, critical thinking, and then collaboration, responding to others, supporting other idea, and also shaping common understanding and purpose. And then communication skills, okay. And then caring thinking. Caring thinking actually is like listening, also, or concentrating, and also it's called valuing. Okay, valuing, which is appreciating by showing interest in what other ideas given, and sensitivity to others' experience and values. This is caring thinking. Okay, next slide. So this is objective of Hikmah: increase reasoning ability. Second one, develop creativity. Third one, develop personal and interpersonal development. Fourth, build an understanding of morals and ethics. And fifth, develop the ability to find meaning in experience. And the last one, think and understand the principles of Islam in life. So Hikmah Pedagogy, there's 4 P4C, and then contain Islamic values. So a student will start reasoning like a philosopher when they start asking why in discussion. So applying Hikmah Pedagogy is very effective in improving the thinking skills of the student, and then build an inquiry community in their classroom, right? So next slide. So this is application of Hikmah Pedagogy in teaching Islamic education. There's 3 phases. The first one is stimulus material. Okay, stimulus. What is stimulus? The details is the student will be given stimulus material such as text, audio, video, or pictures that have features of inquiry or doubt that stimulate the student to ask. Okay, for example, Ustazah Farisha will give text or text of, okay, let me give example in Malay, okay. Okay, contohnya Ustazah Farisha bagi teks cerita, tajuk dia tentang si penjual buah. So Ustazah Farisha ni akan minta murid untuk baca cerita tu secara bergilir di hadapan semua orang. Itu antaranya antara caranya. Dan selepas diberi masa untuk mereka membaca dan menelaah sedikit, jadi cikgu akan minta murid untuk mengeluarkan soalan apa yang berada di fikiran mereka. Contohnya keluarkan watak dalam teks tersebut atau dan sebagainya. Macam itulah untuk inquiry diorang, untuk menarik inquiry diorang, apa yang mereka rasa macam doubt dalam teks tersebut. Okay, selepas selesai perbincangan tu berkaitan teks, okay, sesi pertanyaan akan dimulakan. Jadi seterusnya adalah fasa yang kedua. Okay, the second phase is questioning. Students will given the opportunity to ask question, and the question will be written to be presented to other friends, their peers. So jadi okay, kembali Ustazah Farisha ni tadi akan meminta murid untuk berfikir. Mereka akan bina soalan lah, bina soalan yang tidak terikat dengan teks yang mereka baca tadi. Jadinya pastikan jawapan tu tak ada dalam teks yang dibincangkan. Kemudian setiap murid akan diberikan peluang untuk bertanya sesama sendiri, dan Ustazah Farisha ni sebagai guru akan mendorong pelajar untuk bina soalan yang beraras tinggi. Jadi guru ni akan kena provoke lah student ni, pelajar ni untuk bina soalan aras tinggi. Okay, baik. Usaha untuk pelajar-pelajar ni buat soalan aras tinggi. Contohnya kalau adab berjual beli ni, apakah akibat mengabaikan adab berjual beli? Jadi sebaiknya setiap soalan itu guru hanya akan memilih soalan yang beraras tinggi je. Jadi guru kena ingatlah, kena apply, kena gunakan taksonomi Bloom, okay, dalam setiap soalan, dalam memilih soalan yang yang pelajar bagi dalam fasa yang kedua ni. And then the next phase is discussion. So this phase will cultivate dialogue skills or communication skills and give a rise to varied assessments amongst members of the pedagogy of wisdom, which is the student itself. Jadi untuk fasa yang ketiga ni ialah perbincangan. Jadi murid akan diberi peluang untuk memberi pendapat berdasarkan soalan yang dibincangkan sebelum ni. Jadi guru ni, Cikgu Farisha ni, Ustazah Farisha ni akan membantu murid dalam sesi penyoalan bagi membentuk inquiry, semangat inquiry dalam mendengar setiap idea yang dicurahkan oleh setiap murid. Jadi semasa sesi perbincangan ni, Ustazah Farisha ni kena bertindaklah untuk iring diorang atau mendorong diorang berfikir beraras tinggi dan memberi critical, menggunakan creative thinking, menggunakan apa lagi yang P4C tadi, dan juga caring thinking tadi untuk evaluate ataupun menilai apa pendapat masing-masing. Jadi dan mereka juga akan includekan melalui pengalaman mereka dalam memberi pendapat masing-masing ataupun memberikan critical thinking dalam setiap perbincangan yang mereka buat tadi. Jadi akhirnya sesi perbincangan ini akan diakhiri dengan penutup. Jadi murid perlu membuat kesimpulan sama ada setuju atau tidak untuk perbincangan mereka tadi. Jadi dalam proses ni adanya perbincangan mereka secara damai. This is I present before democratic process, and this is called community inquiry, which is they voice out their ideas and they receive the others' ideas and they think critically to give good judgment. Okay. Okay, next. So with the implementation of this Hikmah Pedagogy, actually requires teachers as beginners and changing the classroom environment to achieve meaningful learning. Okay. Okay, and then second one, help students in improving thinking skills. So the teachers' jobs should be to help students in improving thinking skills and guide them to ask challenging questions. Macam like I've said before, teachers need to provoke them to give hot question. Okay. And then because students have different values and different tasawwur, right? And then teachers need to act to relate the theme to the students' experience. So teachers also need to act to relate the theme of the topic that time to the students' experience, so that discussion will be closer to them and they will react positively with the discussion. And then the last one, teachers should build a community of inquiry environment that involves all students in class, because when implementing Hikmah Pedagogy, they will respect each other in listening to the opinions and ideas of the friends and challenging each other to give opinions and accepting if opinions are not supported together, and they will together draw conclusions after discussion, and then they will seek understand the issue and make assumptions to a good assumption for judging their ideas. Okay. So like I said before, community of inquiry is the class. By implementing a community of inquiry in this class, a class will change its culture into a community of inquiry, which is whose the members are comfortable in listening, they advise ideas using their values and principles. So the application of community of inquiry during Hikmah Pedagogy will produce a harmonious atmosphere in the class, regardless of this issue that discussed with them. Okay. Next. Oh, okay. So the conclusion is, we can say that inductive method is part of the Islamic Hikmah Pedagogy. Okay. Because their interaction and discovery learning, so on. So and like I said before, we recall Hikmah Pedagogy is we can say that as a thinking tool, to sharpen the thinking skills of the students. This is actually this pedagogy and this method is not something new. Actually, we use them. The teacher always use them, but we don't know the term of this pedagogy. And this is it is clear that there is in this pedagogy, this is clear that there's have a solution problems, exploration, investigation, and in this PDP of Islamic education. So we as teachers will be a teacher, right? Will recommended to use this Hikmah Pedagogy to encourage students to think at a higher level in learning and improve the meaningful of learning. So this can improve skills thinking of students and to make their own decision in the various situations that they will experience in the real world. So therefore, this method is very appropriate to be implemented by the Ministry of Education Malaysia, inshallah, which is the founder of Hikmah Pedagogy, dream to produce a nation that meets the aspiration of the national philosophy, FPL, FPK, and meets the market global of the world. So that's all from me and our group. Thank you for your attention. So, Assalamualaikum.